Welcome. This video focuses on strengthening and then stretching the hip stabilizers. You'll need a resistance band and potentially also a strap or band to assist. The elastic bands can be purchased from Kmart quite inexpensively. You get different strengths of resistance. We come to a side lying position, either lying flat on the arm or supporting the head with one hand. Knees are bent, knees are forward and heels together. We raise and lower the top knee in a clamshell action. This is abduction and external rotation, so strengthening into gluteus medius, minimus, piroformis, those abductors. Then we extend the top leg and rotate in one direction. So again, abduction, and we also have some hip rotation, so strengthening the stabilizers, and then take the rotation in the other direction for the same amount of repetitions. I think I took 8 repetitions in each direction. Then come to a seated position and move the band to the instep of either foot. The back foot is flat on the mat with the knee bent up toward the sky. The bottom leg is extended and externally rotated. We lift and lower the bottom leg so that we're working into the adductors. So also a slight external rotation of that bottom leg. So we're really getting into those adductor or inner thigh muscles. Then we rotate the leg in one direction, maintain really resistance on that band, so we're really working into those muscles, and then rotate in the other direction, so an equal amount of rotations in each direction. All the while breathe deeply. Then we release the band, move it up back to the thighs, move the band over so we get it to the other side, and we lie back down onto the side, either flat or supported, and take our clamshell abduction action. So heels together, knees flex, knees forward, and opening and closing just like a clamshell, working into the abductors, those gluteal muscles. And breathe out as we lift, inhale as we lower. Then extend the leg and take a few rotations in one direction, so again abduction and hip rotation, and then rotate in the other direction, so working on those hip stabilizers and strengthening them, all the while breathing deeply. Then we sit up, move the band down toward the insteps again and working into the adductors. So we lift and lower that bottom leg, the back foot is on the mat or ground for support, knee bent up. We slightly externally rotate that working leg, so working into those inner thighs or adductor muscles. Then rotate in one direction, maintaining that stretch, that tension on the band, and then rotate in the other direction, all the while breathing deeply, so we give the muscles oxygen. Now we take that band and place it around the ankles as we sit. Again, move the band toward the mid-thighs. The knot is at the hamstring area, and we come to a prone position, so lying down on the stomach, legs together. We lift both legs up and take them out to the side, back in and down toward the mat. And take a posterior tilt of the pelvis, so tuck the pelvis into the mat, the pelvic bone, so we protect the lower back even as we strengthen those back muscles and the glutes, so gluteus maximus, the hamstrings a little bit, so strengthening into the posterior chain. Exhale as we lift, inhale out, exhale up, inhale down. So abduction and hip extension. Then we take a little swimming action of the legs, so again working into the glute maximus, the spinal extensors and the hamstrings. So very important for nice, stable and strong hips and glutes. Release both legs down, hands next to the chest. Repress up, bring the knees in a little bit and sit back on the heels. Stretching the arms forward, so a nice release for the lower back and a little bit for the glutes. Breathe deeply as we stretch. We come now to a seated position. Bring the legs forward, bring the hips forward, and lie back down with the fingertips close to the heels, feet hip distance apart. We lift the pelvis off the mat and tuck the pelvis slightly, so slight posterior tilt to protect the lower back. As we press into the heels, engage the inner thighs and lift the hips up. Then release the hands, shoulder blades, and release the spine onto the mat. Again, tuck the pelvis under, tailbone up, mid back up, shoulder blades, and hands together. We lift the hips, press into the heels, engage the inner thighs so the knees don't splay open, and then release the hands, shoulder blades, and release the spine, vertebra by vertebra, back to the mat. Again, hip bridge, tuck the pelvis, lift the spine off the mat, hands together, shoulder blades together, squeeze into the glutes and hold. And then slowly lower the spine back down onto the mat. Tailbone last. Again, lifting the tailbone, lifting the spine, lifting the shoulders, hands together, engage the inner thighs, press into the heels. Breathe deeply, and the last time we lower the spine down onto the mat. Then hug the knees in, remove the band, place it to one side, and hug the knees into the chest. Feel a nice release in the lower back. Extend the left leg on the mat and extend the right leg up to the sky. We can either place a strap around the foot, or grab the back of the thigh, back of the calf, the ankle, or the foot, and feel a nice release in the back of the right leg and the hamstring. If the foot is flexed, you'll feel the stretch also in the calf. The left hand can go onto the thigh or out to the side, and take the right leg out toward the right side. Doesn't matter how far we go. What we want here is a stretch along with the hamstring, also on the inner thigh and groin area. So again, using a strap around the foot or grabbing along the leg so we get a nice stretch and without any pain. Then the left leg, or strap in left hand, as we take the right leg over the body toward the left, right arm out to the side and neck gently turning toward the right. So this time we feel a stretch on the outside edge of the right leg along the iliotibial tract or band, that fascia. Then we bring that right leg back to the center, hug both legs in, extend the right leg to the mat and extend the left leg up to the sky. A strap around the foot or the hands behind the thigh, the calf, the ankle, or the foot. Feel a nice stretch in that left hamstring, so any pain, please release. Right arm goes out to the side or on the thigh, left leg goes out toward the left. You can turn the head to face the right if it feels comfortable on the neck, and feel a nice stretch in the left adductor area as well as the hamstrings, and breathe deeply. We change the right hand to the strap or left leg out across the body toward the right to feel the stretch on the outside edge of the right leg, the iliotibial tract or band, all along the fascia on the outside of that leg. Breathe deeply. We bring that leg back up, bring both knees into the chest. Breathe deeply for a couple of breaths. And now the hands go down to the mat, and one more little exercise. Now you can stay with the knees hugged in, or you can take this exercise crisscross, scissoring the legs a little bit more for the adductors as well as the core. So moving the legs to perpendicular and down toward the mat, engaging the core muscles. If you feel any strain on the lower back, please cease the activity and hug the knees into the chest. So just a slow scissoring action, going out to the side and crossing the legs over. Then flex the knees out toward the shoulders. Resist the action as it's a little bit of a frog kick. like as if swimming. Taking the knees down, working into the adductors. Just a little more, since we did quite a bit for the abductors. Now we take happy baby. Knees go out toward the side, grabbing hold of the outside edge of the feet or legs and feeling a stretch in the groin, inner thigh. Of course, you can also extend both legs to deepen that stretch. Cross right ankle over left and take a little rock backwards and forwards. So a spinal massage here before we come into Navasana, boat pose. So both knees can be bent or both legs straight. Now this strengthens the hip flexor as well as the core. So breathe deeply, then cross left ankle over right, and again we take our little rock of the boat, massaging the spine. Take it about 4 times and then hold in boat pose Navasana with either the knees bent or the legs extended, strengthening into the hip flexors and the core. Crossing the ankles, we roll over onto the knees, and then either take we take the elbows down to the mat, and then either take the legs straight or knees on the mat. So this is our plank position on the elbows. Lift up out of the shoulders, strengthening the core once more. Important to have a strong core. Then left elbow to the mat. We take the right arm up toward the sky and working into the oblique. So lift the hips up and then simply change sides. Right elbow to the mat, left arm up toward the sky, lift the hips and strengthening into those oblique muscles of the core. Coming back onto the elbows into a prone position. So on the belly, lift up out of the shoulders, sphinx pose, stretching the abdominals. Then we flex the left knee, grab hold of the left ankle. You can either be on the arm or on the elbow, and stretching into the hip flexor and the quadricep on the left. Changing sides. Remember, you can stay down on that arm or up on the elbow, and a right hand to right ankle, stretching into the right hip flexor and quadricep. Now a couple more options for hip flexor quadricep stretching. Coming onto all fours, we extend the left leg, right arm, and grab that left ankle or foot with the right hand. Lifting the knee up, we should feel a nice stretch in the hip flexor quadricep. Other side, right leg up, left arm out, and grabbing the right foot or ankle with the left hand, feeling a stretch in that right hip flexor and quadricep. Coming to another option, we sit back, bring the hips forward and take the knees to the right, take both hands over to the right, and then coming down onto the elbows or staying on the hands. We can rest the forehead on a block or on the hands. We get a little stretch into the back hip flexor. You can make that a bigger stretch by grabbing the left ankle with the left hand, aligning the knee with the hip and pulling onto that ankle. Level 3, bring the elbows back down, the right foot to the left knee, align the left knee with the left hip. So very carefully, and if you can, lowering down into a supine position to feel a deeper stretch in the left quadricep and hip. Coming back, we take both knees over to the left, both hands over to the left, and stay there or come down onto the elbows and or drop the forehead to a block or to the hands. Gentle spinal rotation and very gentle stretch into the right hip flexor quadricep. If you would like to deepen that, take hold of the right ankle or foot with the right hand, pressing the hip forward, and or bring the left foot to the right knee onto the elbows, both elbows, or reclining and maintaining a safe alignment of the knee and hip on the right for a deeper stretch into the right hip flexor and quadricep. Rolling onto the left side to come out of that stretch. We come to a seated position with the legs in a diamond position, so the feet are forward rather than close to the groin. Reach the spine forward, and then when you feel a nice stretch, just relax forward, drop the crown of the head and feel a stretch along the hips, the gluteal muscles, gluteus medius, minimus, piroformis a little bit, and the lower back. So a really nice stretch that's accessible for most people. Then we bring the heels closer to the groin, and you can support the knees here with cushions or blocks or blankets. And then just to bring the belly button toward the heels to feel a nice stretch in the groins, inner thighs. So those adductor muscles. Deep breaths. Then we bring the hands back, cross the right ankle over the left for a seated pigeon stretch. So that's for our right glutes and hips. Sitting up nice and tall. Changing sides, left ankle above right knee, press the knee away, lift the spine tall and feel a stretch in that left hip and glute area. Now we bring the hips forward and recline back using the core. We bring that right ankle above the left knee, pressing the right thigh away. Either stay there or grab the back of the left thigh or the left shin, hugging that left knee into the chest to feel a stretch into the right hip and glute. So a reclined pigeon. Then we slide the right leg across, right arm goes out, looking toward the right and feel a stretch along the spine. Keep the legs as they are as we take them over toward the right to feel a stretch in the left, so as a waist area. The left arm out to the side. Then we take it all to the other side, so left ankle above the right knee, either stay there or grab the back of the thigh or the front of the right shin, hugging the right knee into the chest to feel a stretch into the left glute and hip. We cross that left leg over the right, legs go over to the right, left arm and head toward the left, and then simply keep the legs as they are, take the legs over toward the left to feel a stretch in the right, so as waist area. Taking deep breaths so we relax into the stretch. Now we can extend both legs and relax completely. Relax the entire back body, the back of the head, shoulder blades, hips, legs, arms, and breathe deeply. When you're ready, flex the knees, rock up into a seated position, and take a final seated rotation. Enjoy the rest of your day.